The world of comics is one that this show has long ignored, and this is a shame because we've gotten plenty of great creatures and monsters from comic books. So, for the next few Monsters of the Mind, it'll be all about comic books and the creatures and monsters that originated in them. I think we're better to start than with a character who was pretty under the radar for a while before becoming mainstream the Purple Titan himself, Thanos. Thanos is a large purple humanoid alien. He's part of a uber-powerful race known as Eternals, but he's not a typical member of them, as he is a mutant. Thanos comes from Titan, which was originally Saturn's moon of the same name, but several media since has made it its own planet that just shares its name with the moon, I guess. As a child, Thanos nearly got killed by his mother for being a mutant, but other than that, he had a surprisingly stable childhood for a villain. In fact, as a kid, he was actually pretty nice, but as he grew older, he grew a fascination with death. And this culminated when he had an encounter with Marvel's embodiment of death, Lady Death. Thanos became infatuated with her and decided that he wanted to impress her. And what can impress death more than causing mass-scale death, the likes of which the universe has never seen? So Thanos' plans almost always involve trying to wipe out as many beings as possible in an attempt to get her attention. Power-wise, as an Eternal, Thanos is already very strong and tough, which is only enhanced by his mutation. Thanos also has several powers bestowed upon him through mystic means, like how he's more or less immortal, and he doesn't need to eat, sleep, or even breathe. Not to mention, Thanos is incredibly smart and has created many gadgets, tools, and vehicles over the years to help with his mass genocide plans. Including once a helicopter, but we don't like to talk about that. Thanos is truly a force to be reckoned with, and even some of Marvel's toughest have had trouble with him, as even if they win the fight, Thanos will still put up an incredibly impressive display. And then we find the objects that Thanos often seeks out in order to fulfill his kill-everything plans. And these objects make an already dangerous being even more powerful. The most famous of these objects is the Infinity Gauntlet, a glove made to fit the Infinity Gems, uber-powerful objects that each control a certain aspect of the universe. The Time Gem allows you complete control over time. You can travel through it, speed it up, slow it down, reverse it, anything. Space Gem allows you to instantly warp to any point in the universe and can allow you to be in multiple places at once. If you use it right, it can basically make you omnipresent. The Mind Gem both allows its user to enhance their own mental abilities, and you can see and control the minds of other beings. The Power Gem enhances your power to the infinity level and can even be used to make the other gems more dangerous. Reality Gem allows you to alter reality to your wish, allowing you to basically make any change in the universe that you want. And the Soul Stone allows you to control life itself, both living and dead. If all the gems are wielded at once, then it basically makes you a god, and you're nigh impossible to defeat. Having all the gems at once basically allows you to do anything, so Thanos having the gems is not good. Alright, now let's look at some notable appearances of the big guy. Thanos first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man number 55, as part of an event known as the Thanos War. In the storyline, Thanos is after a device known as the Cosmic Cube, which basically grants the wish of whoever has it. Thanos uses the cube to become incredibly powerful. However, he gets defeated after he's tricked into temporarily giving up his powers, and at this point the cube gets destroyed, depowering Thanos and making him beatable. This story set up most of the formula for Thanos' appearance. Afterwards, Thanos is after some sort of object for great power, so he can use it to cause mass death and therefore impress death. The most famous Thanos storyline is Infinity Gauntlet. In this story, Thanos hunts down the Infinity Gems and hopes to use their power to become a god and cause mass death. And he succeeds. He gets the gems and wipes out half of all life in the universe. It doesn't stick, of course, as Thanos ends up becoming one of the universe. When he does this, though, he leaves his physical body behind, which allows the heroes to rip the gauntlet off of him, stripping him of his powers and reversing all the destruction he's caused. And that basically sets up the formula for most Thanos appearances from then on. It's usually him seeking out the gems, and yeah, not much else to say there, really. Thought I'd have more to say, but Thanos has been in over 1,000 comics, so obviously summarizing them all is not gonna happen. Now let's look at how Thanos has been portrayed in other media. Most famously, Thanos was the main antagonist of the first 3 phases of the MCU, known as the Infinity Saga. Thanos first appeared in the post-credit scene of The Avengers, but here he was played by a different actor, and he was a real person wearing makeup, while later on he would become a CGI character. Thanos had his first speaking role in Guardians of the Galaxy, now portrayed by his usual MCU voice actor Josh Brolin. Thanos is not the main antagonist of this movie, he's more like the man behind the man of the real antagonist of this movie, but it's hard to explain what his role is exactly. Thanos then made a cameo in the credits scene of Age of Ultron, where tired of everyone he sent out to retrieve Infinity Stones, this time failing him, he decides that he's gonna find them himself. This all culminates in Thanos' big break, Avengers Infinity War, where he's the main protagonist. Yes, you heard that right. Remember, protagonist does not mean good guy, it just means the focal character. And it has been confirmed that Thanos is the main character of this movie, so therefore he's the protagonist of this movie. Remember, I don't need to repeat myself, protagonist does not mean good guy. Anyway, Thanos' motives have been rewritten to make him more sympathetic. In this incarnation, instead of being in love with death, Thanos is instead shown as someone who has good intentions but uses extreme methods to reach them. You see, in this story, Thanos' home planet Titan was going through an overpopulation crisis and was running out of resources. He suggested they can cull 50% of the population, but everyone rejected him thinking he was crazy. But eventually what he predicted came to pass. So now he goes from planet to planet, wiping out half their population to stop them from getting too big. And now he's looking for the Infinity Stones in order to speed up the process and just wipe out half of all life at once. And he wins. Yeah, despite efforts for the superheroes, Thanos gets all the Infinity Stones and succeeds in his goals. He wins. This movie was a massive success and launched Thanos into the mainstream. What was once a villain only Marvel fans were aware of has now become one of the most famous villains in all media. I mean, basically everything this guy has said has become a meme. That should really tell you how iconic MCU Thanos is. Anyway, since there's no way in hell they'd end a franchise on a downer note, the next year we got the sequel, Endgame. In this movie, Thanos has destroyed the Infinity Stones, massively injuring him. This leads to his quick defeat in the opening minutes of the movie. Okay then. But halfway through the movie, during time travel shenanigans to get the Infinity Stones, a version of Thanos from the past ends up in the future, where it turns out he never actually had good intentions. Upon finding out that people were not happy with what his future self had done, he decides, you know what, you ingrates, I'm just rebooting the whole thing. So now, he wants the stones to shred this universe down to its last atom and build a new one that actually knows how to be grateful. Turns out Thanos never actually cared about any population he wiped out, he just wanted to be seen as the good guy. Anyway, Thanos gets snapped away. The end. But the MCU is not the only appearance of the big guy, as even before this, Thanos has made plenty of appearances in media, but not as much as other Marvel big bads. More on that in a minute. In television, Thanos made his first animated appearance in 1998's Silver Surfer, but because of censorship, instead of trying to impress Death, he's trying to impress Lady Chaos. Yeah. It's always funny seeing how superheroes were censored when they made the leap to cartoons. Anyway, he also appeared in the Superhero Squad show. I'm mostly mentioning this because here there are 7 Infinity Gems. I have no idea what the 7th one is, and frankly, if there is an answer, I don't want to hear it. I only wanted to highlight those 2 because that was his first cartoon, and the other are 7 Infinity Stones. Every other time it's basically just typical Thanos stuff. He's after something, you gotta go beat him up. In the world of video games, Thanos has made plenty of appearances in the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting series. He's been in all 3 LEGO Marvel games, but he was only in the base game of LEGO Avengers. In the other 2, he's a DLC character. Thanos was in Fortnite. Actually, no, I'm not listing anymore. We've peaked. Now, Thanos has been in a lot more media than that, but thing is, Thanos is nowhere near as reoccurring as some of the other big bads of Marvel, and I think this is for 2 main reasons. One, he's too powerful for solo heroes. See, because Thanos is canonically, really powerful, and a being who even groups of heroes have trouble dealing with, it would just feel odd if he just randomly popped into a Spider-Man cartoon and got defeated right then and there. And secondly, and I think more importantly, Thanos isn't really anyone's specific villain. He's an everyone villain. Let me explain. If there's a Batman adaptation, you're gonna have Joker. Spider-Man, you're gonna have Green Goblin. Because they are their villains. But Thanos, he's not the specific villain of anyone, so he doesn't have a personal connection to any of the characters that Marvel likes to make TV shows about, so therefore, why would they include him? It would just feel off if he randomly had personal beef with Spider Man specifically. Yeah, those are just my theories, though. Now, as for his reputation in the mainstream, before Infinity War, nobody really cared about Thanos, but now everyone knows who he is. And like I said, pretty much every word this guy has said has become a meme. So yeah, from nobody to a guy everyone knows. Give it up for the Mad Titan, everybody! And next time for this comic marathon, we're going to the other comic, guys, and looking at the creature so deadly that even his name implies how destructive he is. See you next time.